Sure.
So funny.
Why?
He just tweeted Porzingis is here shooting threes. So many people are gonna have the same video.
Did the kids the pointers out?
Jalen and Jason, their relationship, obviously kind of like tension of just wanting to be the best, becomes this narrative for so many talking heads around the country or world. From your perspective, does that seem far-fetched? And I guess just what has it been like your experience with these guys over the last few years? And
That's a really good question. I'm kind of praying about how deep I really want to get into that, because the whole thing about that really pisses me off, and I think it's unfair to both of them. And I think it's stupid that people have to use those two guys' names and use information that they don't know to create clickbait so that they can stay relevant. And it's very unfair that those two get compared. They're two completely different people. They're two completely different players. They're great teammates. They love each other, and they go about winning, and they go about their process in a different way. So why they have to always be lumped together, I think, is unfair, and people just use it for their own relativity. And at the end of the day, those two guys, their relationship is their relationship. They love each other, they push each other every single day in practice, they communicate with each other, but they go about winning differently. And I think they're both getting unfair, what's the word, being compared to each other. They're different. And you see other duos around the league don't have to go through that. And it's because of the platform that they have. It's because they've been so successful their entire careers. They've been able to long-stand success at a high level. And so people need them in order to stay relevant. And they should not talk on speculation. They should get to know them as people before they talk about that stuff. They're two of the greatest teammates and players that you could have, and it's been an honor to coach both of them. Doesn't mean they have to be the same. So it's bullshit. And I love both of them, and they deserve better.
Joe. Out there shooting threes. How far along is he? And just basically, what's the update with him as far as?
He's getting better. He's getting better. He's out there shooting. Went through a couple of drills in practice, so progressing well, and kind of confident where he's at right now.
Would you say confident in his availability for game one?
I'm confident where he's at on whatever day today is.
Coach.
Joe, your reaction to playing Dallas, what do you think of them, and can you take anything from the matchup last time in March when they had made the trades, but they obviously are different too now?
Well coached, well prepared. I think they're a great team. Obviously have two really good scorers, but I think their role players are great in what their role is and what they're asked to do night in and night out. So present a ton of challenges, but I think the keys remain the same, and then staying open-minded to the things that we'll have to do throughout the series. We talk about every series is different, every game is different, so it'll be a challenge for us. We just got to be ready for it. And taking from it, I'm sure they're a different team. They change a lot throughout the season, so we could take some things, but I'm assuming they'll do some things differently as well. So we just got to be ready for the tactical adjustments that they make.
Two things. Rightly or wrongly, Kyrie is going to be perceived as a villain the series. How
Aren't we all?
long?
In someone's eyes.
Pardon me?
We're all villains in someone's eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Just how, you guys are good at tuning out the noise. Is that something that you take into consideration?
Listen, like, he's a great player. He's done a lot of good things. I think just how he's carried himself, how he's played this postseason has been one of the fun things to watch. As one of the themes in the NBA. So he's a great player. Done a lot of great things over the course of his career. He's playing really well. So you have to respect that. You can't take that for granted, and you have to be ready to guard him at a high level. It's the most important thing.
Yeah, and I just want to say I like you personally for
Yeah.
my time here. But the other thing I wanted to ask you was, Dallas has a penchant for playing close games, clutch games, and they win a lot of them. They've lost some of them.
All finals games. Have you studied all final games?
Most of them, yeah.
What were you trying to get from that, and what did you take away from the study of the finals game? How far back did you go with that?
Yeah, I mean, probably early 90s, but it all comes down to the same thing. Like, once you get rid of the fact that you're playing in the finals and playing for a chance to win, it comes down to rebounding, transition defense, offensive execution, knowing your personnel, situational basketball. The team that's playing the hardest, team that gets the most offensive rebounds, like it's very, very simple. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's not overly hard to do. And so I think there's not necessarily the game plan isn't simple, but the things that go into winning at this level are very, very simple. You just have to do them with a high level of physicality and discipline.
And when did you study those? When did you decide to do that?
I mean, throughout, since I've gotten in the NBA, you want to study. I think, when you get in situations, you always want to know the why. Why does the team win? Why does the team lose? Why is the game close? Why is it a blowout? Why is this a narrative and this wasn't? Why is this more important than this? And so I think if you can get to the question of why, you have to look back at all those things. And so, I think it gives you a good perspective, and that's really the way that you ignore all the kind of the stuff that doesn't matter, is you just get to the stuff that matters the most.
And then shifting gears a bit, Dallas's defense, the numbers just kind of.
Yeah, man, it's just nice to have some time off for us to just get right and get us prepared as we can. Dallas, obviously a very tough team, very talented. They're playing their best basketball right now. Playing at a very high level, very confident. It's gonna be fun. Yeah, no question. We want to. We've established consistency and hard work, and we've tried to embody what being a Celtic is about. And that from the beginning of camp, from before camp, even in September when we were doing voluntary workouts here, we were just consistent. Everybody's coming in here, everybody's working, we're all getting together. What do we want our legacy to be? I think it has to be the consistent, hard-working team, caring team, and we're playing for each other, and we have really enjoyed being in this space. And I feel like that's what we're about.
Playing with Kyrie was very special. He's the type of player that just opens up a lot for everybody else, and I was I benefited a lot from that. In his time that he was here, and our fans, they care about the Celtics, they care about Boston, and this has been spoken about already. But when he left, it wasn't ideal for everyone here. So I know the fans. It's the finals. Regardless of who's coming in and who's not, it's going to be lively. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be loud. TD Garden's going to be ready to go, and it's those environments that that you want to play in. You are in the finals. This is the big stage, so I don't expect anything less from our fans. Our fans are going to be who they are, and that's what it is.
How is it for you at this stage in your career, knowing that you guys are so close, 4 wins away from adding NBA champion to your resume?
I just feel very grateful to be in this opportunity. It's very exciting for me. We've just been consistent all year as a group. That's something, a word that I guess keeps coming up, but it's just the reality. Our group has been solid. We're enjoying playing with each other on the court and trying to make the most of this opportunity. So for me, I'm just enjoying this season and trying to make the most of it and trying to do the best that I can off this opportunity. It's not easy getting to this position. It's only my second time, being in a final. So I'm just very fortunate, man. Just very excited for the opportunity.
Just saying today's session was good, but not great. Seems like there's a point behind that. I'm wondering, how hard is it to be great every single day when you guys have been as good as you've been all season, especially with the run that you just had to get to this point?
It is challenging, and I feel like there's always that expectation that we have of ourselves. We hold ourselves to the highest expectation, and I feel like that's what has made us a really good team. So to your point, I felt like it was a good practice today, but I'm always thinking being better or pushing our group to be better. So that's all I meant by that.
Final two questions. The intensity of conference finals and everything's about the chess match. Does having that just couple of days to kind of like clear your head and not just immediately like the last finals run, you finish game 7, you turn around, you have to get to that next game plan. Does having that extra couple of days to just kind of not think of anything kind of help you prepare for the next?
I think a clearer mind, absolutely for us, and it's very beneficial just because there's a lot of emotions, a lot of hard work that go into these playoff series, and they definitely take a toll on you, and so I do think that it's good for us to get this time.
We'll see. We haven't played a game yet in the finals. Again, I grew up a Laker fan, so I've seen some of those games just going against each other, and the history, the battles, the intensity, just being able to, kind of wish to be in that position. So I'm excited to see what it's about.
Joe was talking earlier about timing and how things kind of line up, how they're supposed to line up, and just, you have control over some things. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes time is the things just line up like they're supposed to line up. You were traded away with the Portland. You're gonna have an option saying that you're traded to Boston. You signed Jrue up and then re-signed it in April. Is this kind of the best case scenario for you? How things have worked out? Does it feel like time has kind of worked out for you to be in this spot at this time for this team at this moment?
I don't know if it's the best, just because I don't know of any other option. Like I think that this is what was supposed to happen, and I'm glad that I'm here, and I'm glad that I'm in this moment. And I would say Joe has talked about that a lot, especially this season, is being in the moment, and that's what I've tried to do. Didn't try to worry about the contracts, didn't try to worry about any of that. It was so much about winning and why we're at this point now. So it's going to be the same from here on. It's like I'm supposed to be here, and I'm supposed to be with my teammates, and we're supposed to do this together. And it is because that's the way it was supposed to be. It's hard. But it's fun. Two of the best scorers in the league have been doing it all of their career. We've seen what they've been doing in the playoffs. They're in a really good groove. Not just scoring, but playmaking, making the team better in crucial moments and closeout games and whatever it is. They've been performing very, very great. So it's not really easy, but it'll be fun.
Hey Jrue, Al was just up here, and obviously he's been in the finals before, but he was talking about how after being there once, you kind of learn what comes along with being in the finals, all the off-the-court stuff, the different rhythms and all that stuff. From your perspective of being there once on the court, what can you learn of what it takes to win an NBA Finals from being there once before and going back again?
It takes everything.
I literally say it takes everything. I think it's one of the hardest things that I've ever done. Mentally, physically, you're exhausted. Teams know each other so well that at this point it's kind of about making plays. It's about executing, but I think for me the biggest thing was just how exhausted you were, how exhausted I was because I left everything out there. And again, we were down 0-2. And I think even having the feeling and encouragement of like, it's not over, but I think it's because my team had the mentality of it's not over until we say it's over. So I think being able to go out there and fight and leave everything out on the court, we have the best chance of doing it that way.
How do you verbalize that to your teammates, if at all?
I don't really think I need to. My teammates are motivated. They've been, a lot of them and the core guys have been to the finals, and they knew what it felt like to lose. And win or loss, I think just making it to the finals is motivation enough. Getting to the peak or the pinnacle and either falling short or making it over, it's like, it's kind of this rush that you want to get back and do it again. So I don't think they need motivation from me. I think it's about going out there, executing, locking into what we have to do as early as possible, and then going out there and playing together and having fun.
Jrue, you've played a
specific way though with Al in that starting lineup. What is the process of working Kristaps back in?
I also kind of go back to the regular season where sometimes KP was out and Al was in and vice versa. We literally went through it before. We kind of went through all scenarios before of what could happen or what would happen or whatever, and it kind of shows. Losing to Indiana by whatever we did in Indiana for them to go to the play-in tournament, and then we end up playing Indiana in the playoffs. We're up 22 against Cleveland in Cleveland during the regular season, and then we end up playing them in the playoffs. So like it's like, I don't know if it's supposed to happen that way, but it just happened that way, and it's kind of the same with that. KP is one of our best scorers. He's one of our best rim protectors, and I feel like we're all mature enough to get back in the groove or have him fit right back in whenever he comes back. So, and we do want KP back. We can't wait for him to be back and be a part of this on the court. So.
Last question. Start with Jack.
Hey, Jrue, how you doing? Thanks, Joe sort of emphasized this simplicity of it all, trying to keep you guys locked in on the small things and emphasize treating the playoffs like the regular season. Is that something you've experienced at your past steps, or is that sort of a mentality that's unique to Joe Mazzulla in this room?
I think it's unique to this team because I think it's partially based on how well we did during the regular season, how good we feel our team is, and the time that we have until the next game or competition. I think before, for me, it was just about being consistent, which is still a key now, but some things are just a little different now.
Hi, Jrue. How you doing?
What's going on?
Just to follow up on Bobby a little, just briefly. I know they're different players, different positions, but back in the Minnesota-Denver series, Minnesota had their greatest success by speeding the Joker up. Is that something that you borrow in terms of getting Luke out of his comfort zone without getting too deep?
You could try. I think Luka goes at his own pace. I don't think Luka really gets sped up. So, yeah, you can try as much as possible. I would say the same thing with Kai. I think that's what makes them great, is that they control their own tempo, they control their own pace. The way that they play, sometimes you might think that you haven't sped up, and then they throw a lot up to Daniel Gafford or Lively. So, again, two tough matchups, two tough teams gonna go out here and have some fun.